Hi everybody, I'm Byron. This is another episode of Family Ties. It's called Suzanne Takes You Down. It's about Elise's friend. We saw Elise's friend last time. Remember the episode where Steve and his friend are very competitive? Suzanne is Steve's friend's wife. And she gets in a fight with Steve, and she gets all sad. One thing I want to mention, this show, like these reviews, don't really work too well with this show because the best part about this show is just the offhand jokes, which really can't be related in a review. So there must have been some joke that made me write this down in my notes. That was great. I don't remember what it was, but it was there. So you just gotta watch the episode just for the jokes. This is a funny, funny show, and that's the point. So it has great offhand jokes. So Suzanne comes in and she's all depressed. Her husband is kind of a jerk, and she's all depressed because she feels like her life is over. And one thing she mentions, she says, "You're 40 and your kids goes off to college." 40 and the kids are off to college? That means you had your last kid at 22. That's pretty young to have your last kid. Anyway, so Elise decides to hire her for her architecture firm, which we know that problems are going to happen because it's a sitcom. But just generally, of course, it's a stupid idea to hire a friend. And one of the first things Elise says is, "All right, be here at 9." And her friend goes, "Oh, 9 is tough." So we immediately know. So it's sort of their way, I guess, in a way that sort of quickly deals with the fact that the audience knows that things are going to end badly, is that they immediately have things go badly. They don't pretend that there's any sort of rosy, sunny time. Anyway, she's a terrible employee. She gets on Elise's nerves. Now that I think about it, she's not that terrible an employee. So she started out saying, "Oh, I don't know if I can show up at 9," which is a bad employee thing. And then she starts typing, and she starts typing really slowly. But beyond that, she doesn't really do much that seems terrible. It's mostly this that she gets on Elise's nerves being around all the time. Okay, and so Alex convinces her this is business. You don't uh you don't let emotions get in the way of business. And you know what's interesting? Elise owns her own business, and Alex is this big right wing conservative business loving guy. So I wonder how he feels about mom owning her own business. Um, Although his dream is to work for a large company. His dream is not to own a business. But still, it's interesting. And Steve is pretty high up. He manages the entire TV station. So yeah, in a way, his Alex's parents are people that he actually really looks up to. I never really pieced that together before. So yeah, that's interesting. Even though they share different political ideas, I think Alex really respects what his parents do. Maybe not everything. I forget. This joke might come later in the series, but there was a Steve talks about the first time he took Alex to the public broadcasting station, and when you saw the sign that said public broadcasting, he began to cry. You couldn't read, but I think somehow you knew. I think that episode comes up quite rather soon. Or maybe it's next season. I can't remember. Anyway, so Elise decides to fire Suzanne, but then Suzanne, right in front of everybody, gets divorced. And she goes, of course, very on the nose, "Thank God I have this job, Elise. Otherwise, I don't know what I'd do." Which is the exact plot of a Friends episode. Um, and Friends comes later, so this actually pioneered it. Even though Friends is probably more popular, and anyone watching this probably knows Friends more than they know Family Ties. Shucks, I've probably seen Friends more times than I've seen Family Ties. This may be the fourth or fifth time I've run through it, and Friends. Maybe about the same. Alright. But in the end, Elise does fire Suzanne. But Suzanne sort of gives her an opening and says, I wish people would just be honest with me and, stuff like that. But in the end, Suzanne learns to stand up for herself, which, and then she goes with her husband and has a fight, and it's sort of left ambiguous as to whether or not they get back together. But if they do get back together, it's implied that it's going to be a new type of relationship, and that Suzanne is going to stand up for herself more in the marriage and in life. So Elise helped at the end. Elise helped. It ends between the two people that we just met. I guess we met a few episodes ago, but that aren't part of the family, so that's not good. But otherwise, it's a pretty good episode, especially for an Elise. Probably the worst character to have an episode centered around is Elise, but this is a pretty good Elise episode. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye! Go watch the show. Don't watch this, watch the show.